Bear with me just a second. Rawr. That's the sound of a bear with Give me a couple of seconds and I will be ready. If you've got a question that you'd like to ask during the live stream or now, please question in brackets. Hello. This week in Star Citizen is posted, I think, typically between 4 and 6 p.m. UTC. I think. It's typically over a few hours while I'm eating and chilling out. Right. Oh, the top of my head's gone. Let's just angle this. Slightly less flattering pose. You can see that I'm tubby round the neck. I'm just a meathead. I worried that I look a bit like a bouncer, I think. Like a really bad one. I used to get I suppose I still do. Problems going into clubs and pubs and stuff until I start speaking. Sort of very keen to ID me. I think they think I'm effectively look like a meathead. Look like I'm gonna start trouble. And when I talk, I go, oh, he's middle class, it's fine. Hello! Hope everyone is doing well. I'm BoredGamer. We're gonna be talking about Star Citizen stuff and whatever else you want to talk about. Question in brackets if you'd like to ask anything. Although Star Citizen and myself and YouTube stuff, I suppose, are what I specialise in. Things to talk about. Obviously, if you want to talk about leaks and rumours and drama and stuff, more than welcome to. However, I've got a video coming out today, and a large portion of that is where I talk about... I think a lot of that stuff is quite tabloidy garbage at the moment. Unfortunately, we've gone into a position now with the Star Citizen sort of... leaks and rumours and all that sort of jazz and anecdotes and what people reckon as bases for news and articles going decrying stuff and we saw recently with the layoffs drama, which I did a video a couple of videos on totally debunking that a lot of these things, a lot of these rumours, a lot of these things that people are just 1 + 1 = 5, sort of, when they see some of this stuff, it's just mad, or at least sensationalist. And so to talk about that in a video in the podcast that I do, that'll be later today. Obviously, we talk about lots of other stuff as well. But sensationalism, I do a bit clickbait on my channel, although it is always directly related to the content of the video, so not really clickbait by clickbait definitions, but clickbait in the fact that I want you to click on it, and so I've made the title more enticing. Hello! But yes, we've got stuff to talk about with 3.20. Obviously, they're going to be running a Jump Town, which I think is poor, a bad idea on 3.19.1. It's what it looks like. It's possible that it could be 3.20 goes live just before they run Jump Town, but it's looking like 3.19.1, one last hurrah of Jump Town before they move on to 3.20. I'm not sure if that will go well because of desync and invisibility problems, and so just some things that 3.20 solves, but certainly not solved in 3.19.1. And then there's a mixture of rumours and stuff with 3.21 and 4.0. We've got CitizenCon stuff coming up. We've got the monthly reports have come out. So there's a reasonable amount to talk about if people want to talk about that sort of stuff. I had my photo redone for my driver's license. Neck came out looking chubby. I'm getting old. It's all right to have a chubby neck. It's gonna be okay. It's just a bit of excess skin here. Do you think we'll see 3.20.x in PTU immediately after 3.20 goes live? Pretty soon afterwards, yeah. Pretty soon, within days. Extreme Terror. So 3.20.x, point 1 and point 2, assumedly, are likely going to contain new ships and are going to be patches that are used for CitizenCon and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, most likely. Yeah? Because they add a few new things, and they change some bits around so they are worthy of an entire point X patch. And there's not going to be much time after 3.20 goes live before they need to get these things solved. So yeah, pretty soon afterwards, if not immediate. Yes, I'm looking forward to 3.20 going live as well. Obviously, it's open PT at the moment, which is good. There was a concurrency test, which I think went moderately well. I don't know. Wish Clan Imperium gave us direct feedback on things like that. They sort of do sometimes, and sometimes they give us those like postmortems. Those postmortems for 3.18 and 3.19 have now come out, and I think we obviously should have seen them much earlier, at least the one for 3.18. Hi, Bored. Have not stopped for a while. Stopped in for a while, assumedly. Did shake your hands in Manchester a few years ago. Greetings. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. It's good to see you in my chat. I will be organising an occasional bar citizen up in Manchester. I may even be moving up near Manchester at some point. I hope they kind of give it an extra week or two on Open PT for extra cooking time. Yes, so 3.20 roughly is expecting to be launched to live by the end of this month, by the end of September. And Cloud Imperium also put a nice little post up. Let me show you on my screen. Long-term persistence update. So basically here they say, look, we fixed a load of stuff in long-term persistence, and we want people to be aware that we're not planning a wipe, although they will wipe if they need to. But they're not planning a wipe. But that doesn't mean that all things get carried across to the new patch. Ships rented with Alpha UEC, stackables, consumables, items such as food and utility pens, ammo, etc., refinery jobs in progress, they don't carry across. And items that weren't taken out of your inventory and then put back in your inventory, basically the database didn't make a record of, they won't be stored either. But ships with Alpha UEC, bought with Alpha UEC, reputation, non-consumable items such as looted armor and weapons, and everything bought with real money, that will persist. Which is good. Probably. It depends on what kind of person you are. Because some people obviously enjoy everyone being on the same level again to grind up. It's not accurate. Some people enjoy the persistence of stuff carrying over between the patches more regularly, which I suppose I do at the moment, because stuff's going to be. I don't really care at the moment, to be honest. I'm looking forward to no more wipes. And until then, doesn't matter if there's lots of wipes or very few wipes. To me, so it's all about testing and getting understanding the game, helping out with it at the moment. But yeah, there's some people that obviously love the wipes and some people that hate them. This time it does not look like there will be a wipe. But yeah, there's a load of stuff they fixed. And because of that, it looks like there's going to be a nice smooth transition over from 3.19.1 to 3.20. 3.20 is genuinely the best polished patch we've had so far, assuming it doesn't all explode on live. Obviously, they are. This is all in the wake of persistent entity streaming and the terrible sort of start of the year in regards to star citizen performance. Serrano Verducci? I'm not sure if it's Verducci or Verducci. Thank you very much for the donation. That's genuinely appreciated. Very much. Very, very appreciated. What were my famous last words? Oh, yes. That it's gonna be okay when we transfer over to 3.20 live. Yeah, it does depend, because obviously 3.18 looked relatively okay when it was on PTU and then went to live, and then it literally exploded. So I say literally, and I don't mean that. What do you imagine would be sufficient news at CitizenCon to avert a riot? I mean, even if they cancelled CitizenCon, there wouldn't be a riot, right? There'd be some very angry people on Reddit and Spectrum. But there's not going to be any form of rioting. Obviously, 2-day event. It's going to be a big citizen con. I suspect we'll see some bits on Squadron 42. It will probably be going. It could be a very light vertical slice, as well as a panel and some cool features and stuff talking about Squadron. I want to see something on Squadron. That'd be great. And there's probably going to be a load of stuff about Pyro and stuff beyond Pyro and loading new tech. Lots of pretty stuff, because the dirt track to CitizenCon, as I call it, rather than the road to CitizenCon, basically Clan Imperium starve us of some of the really cool development information to save it for CitizenCon. And pretty much every year at CitizenCon, they've wowed us, even if we've been sort of waiting on what they've been trying to get into our hands since 2016 for a lot of it, right? So I don't think there'd be a riot, even if there was no great news, even if it was just, you know, a standard CitizenCon, because a standard CitizenCon is still pretty good. Have you been eating well? I've been eating. Well, I've been eating a lot. I sort of came off keto quite hard, and I've been stuffing my face full of lots of probably quite bad food. I've been doing lots of exercise though, so I've been running about half an hour a day. I've been doing a mixture of free weights and resistance stuff. Well, I lied. I haven't been doing the resistance stuff. Haven't even started the resistance bands, but I will be doing the resistance stuff. Lots of push-ups and sit-ups and stuff as well. Did they say that 3.20 branch is different from 3.18, unlike how 3.19 was an extension of 3.18 codebase? I believe 3.20 is actually its own fully branched off thing. But that as there are no major features in 3.20, it's not as essential, not as important either way. But I believe it is its own branch. Yeah, because 3.18 and 3.19 share exactly the same codebase. How far away are we from kitchen crafting food and drink in our ships? Half a decade? Question mark. There's probably going to be some form of taking food and making it into different types of food, taking items and putting them through a processor or crafting them into other foods. I don't know when that would be in. That's almost certainly going to be a thing, though, seeing we do have kitchens in our game. I don't think it's a priority feature. So anything like that, yeah, could be quite a while, because it's not going to be used as Squadron 42, right? I haven't played Starfield since I completed the main story and got to the next section of New Game Plus for what I wanted to do. I will go back to it at some point, probably when there's a bit more going on there. I'm looking forward to the updates for Cyberpunk, because I'm going to do my second playthrough of Cyberpunk once it's been updated. I think that's like later this month. If it's not already been updated, it's like Cyberpunk 2.0. There's also like Payday 3. At the moment, I'm playing a little bit of Root to Patcher, gone back to Apex Legends and Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 had a big update, one of my favourite games ever, Titanfall. So I saw some of the mods were talking about, thinks marriage is a psyop. Nice. What else have we got here? Will we get our paid items back with the patch? Yes. They're also working on, at the moment, and they're working on a way of being able to retrieve the sort of flare items and sort of high value items. But we will get all that stuff back at this beginning of the patch launch. How polished are we talking when we talk about polished for 3.20? It's still an alpha, the most polished Star Citizen's ever been, though. They've gone, let's spend a patch, adding not a huge amount of features, but improving what we've got and stabilizing the game. So, probably the most stable and bug-free the game's been. Let's wait until we have it live to make that to know that for sure. But that's what it looks like. On paper, that's what they've done. Be careful what I say. What's been your most embarrassing moment in public? I don't know. I don't really get embarrassed like normal human people. So, for example, went to a stag do reunion a while ago. I say a while ago, a few months ago now. And we went to comedy night. And during that comedy night, I'm quite interactive with comedians. As in, I'll judge what type of performance it is and see, is heckling encouraged? Is responding to the comedian encouraged? So I'll see what it is, and I'll go along with that. I won't just be like, I won't just do it out of sorts. But the comedian at one point was going, "Oh, who thinks that they've grown up?" And I cheered at one point, and none of my mates did. Yeah, I was like, "Who thinks they're like a grown up now?" And so I cheered, and everyone sort of looked at me, and the comedian went, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I went, "Oh, I'm a YouTuber." And she went, "Oh, really? I haven't got anything for that." And I was like, "No, neither do I, mate." Sort of thing. And I was like, sent it out. My mates were like, jabbing me and poking me like, lol, lol. Like, it was I really enjoyed myself. That sort of, I'd have thought normal humans would have been embarrassed in that situation. Whereas I had a great time. I like that sort of stuff, and I like that sort of interaction. I don't feel out of sorts with it. I don't mind being the centre of attention, but I also don't always want to be the centre of attention. I quite like being alone and away from public. If people have seen me at like bar citizens or whatever, I'll get moderately inebriated, and I'll go from a mixture of being like chatty with everyone, but then I will potentially become reclusive. I am bipolar, so I might run away and go and sit alone for like half an hour in my room or whatever, and then come back. So it's a weird thing. But I don't really get humanly embarrassed in the same way. Most embarrassing for me in my head would be like a terrible play in Dota 2. Like, travel the map. What would your dream mission be? Finding a small clue that starts a long quest for some form of themed mission. Oh, there's loads of stuff. I mean, some of the old cool tropes would be like Xenomorph, semi-horror mission. I do not like spoops. I do not like to be spooked. But it can be quite fun if you're lightly spooked or you're sort of anxious, right? Just lightly, sort of like out of your comfort zone. There's a ton of stuff, isn't there? I mean, like in Skyrim, I liked the werewolf chain of missions. They didn't start off like that. That's pretty cool. There's some awesome stuff in Starfield, I've heard, like Star Trek-y type missions. I'm not sure if I have a perfect mission and this thing, because the problem is that I want to be a bit surprised by it, and then me giving it thinking it out too much would take it away from the appeal, right? If a company made Star Citizen board game, I have seen Star Citizen board games, card games, and a few things. Who do you want to make it? Oh. Awaken Realms, Simon, Chip Theory. So, if it was Simon, it'd be more appropriate Star Citizen for all the stretch goals and models and things, right? Or come on, whatever you call it. I quite like Awakened Realms for depth of stuff. I've got, for Chip Theory, I've got too many bones and things like that. That's Chip Theory. But I don't really play them. I think Simon or Come On are more suited for it. Will the claw in the Reclaimer be functional by 3.20? No. Unless there's some sort of magic hocus pocus behind the scenes I haven't realised. It might be functional by the end of the year if it's part of ship scale tractor beams. Potentially, maybe. I know they want to make it functional. I don't have a timeline on it. When and what do you think that the first alien race will be made is? Well, the Vandal are the most thoroughly made race after humans. Then probably the Banu. Only because we've seen some Banu models. Interesting that obviously the Tarvarin are probably going to be the race that you see the most within human space, other than humans, because they're sort of partly integrated into the human empire. Any ideas for 3.20 live release? By the end of the month. That's what it looks like. And Travel Matt, thank you very much for that donation, by the way, as well. I read your question out. I'm not sure if I did. Thank you. Thank you. Shopping Neck Club, nice. Respect your hustle, lots of hard work. Thank you. Has there been any more updates on 3.21 versus 4.0 this year? Last I saw was the internal email. So obviously take all of those all of those leaks and rumours with a giant mountain of salt. They could be entirely bullshit. They're very poorly sourced, or we don't know about the level of vetting. And when I say poorly sourced, what I mean is we're not shown the sources. Yeah? And they might be fantastically better than sourced, but when it comes to showing your workings, they're terrible. All the leaks and rumours we've seen for a while are terrible. So, Cloud Imperium talk about 3.21 in terms of being the end of the year patch. The last of the most recent leaks and rumours we've heard about it were that there was no 4.0 by the end of the year. It got pushed. Well, there was going to be a 4.0 by the year. It got pushed. There wasn't going to be a 4.0 by the end of the year at all, ever. And now, the most recent one is that there may be 4.0 testing, or at least testing of server meshing in some limited fashion by the end of the year. Are we going to get a Xenothreat event when 3.20 goes live? So, I don't believe we'll get Siege of Orison until 3.20.x, because they haven't made those platforms, the new platforms, live and activated the old ones. So I believe that's going to be a 3.20.1 or 0.2 patch as that. We know they've disabled the Ninetales lockdown because they're changing it to a more generic lockdown, or a modular lockdown that can be used by lots of different types of missions and stuff. So Xenothreat and Jumptown are going to be the main ones that they run, and I believe they can run them both. And I think 3.20 is probably very well suited for those. Hopefully addressing the invisibility and a lot of the desync issues. I appreciate people turning up for the live stream. Thank you. People haven't been here for a while, or for people's first time as well. And people that have been here every time I've streamed, like a mentalist. Any idea how meshing is coming along advanced, how advanced it is going into 4.0? So 4.0 will be static server meshing. So literally there'll be, they haven't said exactly what sections of space are going to be their own servers, but basically at the moment shards are 1-to-1 with servers. So one server, one shard. Server meshing, static server meshing, the first step is going to be that one shard is now split into, 5 servers. And then they seamlessly share data between each other, and each server takes control of like a planet and an area of space around that planet, or something like that. I keep hearing rumours that Squadron is also releasing with consoles, or what else could they mean by multiple platforms? So, I believe that what you're talking about potentially comes from a couple of sources, but more recently from Sandy at the Shanghai Bar Citizen, I think it was, basically saying who's looking forward to this Squadron 42 coming out on their PC, and who would be interested in it on their console, and basically just suggesting that console release might be a thing. And I say with CIG, go ahead as long as you don't have to make any concessions for it being on console, right? The next generation of consoles, I don't think is going to have any problem at all running Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Or at least Squadron 42 won't have any problems with, right? MMO and the scale of Star Citizen is going to be a bit weird for console, in my opinion. But maybe. Squadron 42, I would expect to be released on consoles. I think there's a lot of optimization they can do there. I appreciate that you like the consistency and clarity of my content. That's very kind. Thank you very much. Maybe you or someone in your chat can help me. Ever since installing Windows 11, I've had nothing but headaches. I'm running Windows 10, unfortunately. But if anyone else can help Wolfie for free. Right, assuming that's you, Wes. Giving me little kisses. Hope you are doing well, Wes, mate. Oh. Keyboard riots. Yes, Citizen Con. Do you recommend any good cargo runs with the Hull C? Don't know yet. Don't know yet. So, there are likely going to be more economy and Hull C changes before 3.20 goes live. Just some numbers changes which will make stuff very, very different. Right? So the scale of cargo with the Hull C is vastly changed. And it's going to be also dependent on your risk versus reward that you want to take. If you've got a load of money, you've got a load of capital, you could put all of your money bringing the most expensive sort of things from one area to another for potentially a huge payoff. But if you crash or you get blown up by pirates or something, ooh, and remember combat logging as well in 3.20, you can't combat log anymore. So you are stuck. If you see me, so someone said, "Are you experiencing an earthquake, or do you have ADHD?" So I get quite bad anxiety, so I sort of shake or twitch my leg or rock. Question: Meridian Paint has nothing to do with piracy. Reminds me of luxury links sold at Military Expo. How does that make any sense? They're quite stealthy looking, aren't they? They're like. I think the idea is that they're piratey in the sense that they're sort of hard to see. They're stealthy. They're they need a skull and crossbones on, is what you're telling me. Do you think the 600i rework will be with 3.20 or 3.21x? No. I think it is potentially by the end of the year, but probably a little bit later. Oh, I'm looking forward to your game, Jaybird. Feel free to I'll happily promote that to the best of my ability. Well, I'll have a look at it first. I'm sure it's appropriate to promote. There might be some sort of weird Aussie game. Ooh. Sorry if this has already been asked. Is there going to be a wipe? Cloud Imperium have said there's no planned wipe for 3.20, and they talked about long-term persistence and what would be carried over, which is a load of stuff. And they fixed a load of long-term persistence problems as well. Oh. Do you think we will get a full set of plushie dice, or will they stop with the D20? We'll almost certainly get a full set of actual D&D dice, and they'll probably do a full set of plushie dice, right? Now that people have gone, oh, plushie D20. When all hangers finally come back, I think it'll be soon. So, are you talking about being able to spawn your hanger separately? Because I don't think that's coming back. I don't think the hanger module is coming back. What I do think is coming is Cloud Imperium are working on persistent hangers and well, instanced hangers and persistent hangers, but new hangers and the freight elevators and all this like expanded cargo experience, that will be in the game relatively soon. So persistent hangers will allow you to have a hangar in-game that you can invite people to, that you can customize to a degree, and have your ships in. It's your main home hangar. Whereas I'm not that ashamed of myself from LARP because I was too drunk to care. And then too hungover to, like, deal with life. Many years, probably like a decade ago of LARP. Wilma Hangers finally come back. I think it'll be soon. That's what I literally just talked about. Way off topic. Are you enjoying Wheel of Time and Prime? I've not watched Wheel of Time yet. I am looking forward to going through a lot of stuff. Picard season 2 on onwards. I haven't watched yet. Wheel of Time I haven't watched. It's a load of stuff. You want Star Citizen board game to basically D&D. You can do D&D with Star Citizen now. What else have we got? You think 600i will work by the end of the year? No. So if it's been prioritized, it's possible to have it by the end of the year. We don't know what's happening by the end of the year at the moment. We haven't got the sort of schedule from Clan Imperium. It is possible that they've gone, let's get the 600i in. But it's also possible that it's not prioritized at all, right? What features would come with 3.20? Ship's Gold tractor beams, I think, would be high up on the list. Bounty hunting version 2 would be high up on there. And that'd sort of like be two of the main things. New reputation system they've been working on. Loads of new missions. Did they say 3.20 would come with the telemetry fix? They mentioned that they were trying to fix the telemetry stuff. Maybe, I can't remember. Do you see some major economy changes before 4.0? I mean, even just the addition of the Hull C in-game is a big economy change, yeah? So, yeah. I mean, I suspect that there's going to be some dynamic universe stuff as part of 4.0. And in between now and then, they're going to be changing parts of the economy. I'm not sure what you deem major, but even some goods changing in value can really affect the game. Do you think we could see Port Olisar come back for Arena Commander? Yes, I think we could see it as part of ruins on planets, or a station that we assault as part of Arena Commander or Theatres of War. Clan Imperium are working on Theatres of War. Well, they're trying to revitalize it for Arena Commander. What could they show you at CitizenCon for Pyro that would not be a repeat of previous CitizenCons? So, I mean, I don't mind if some of it is, this is an update of where we've got to with some of the old stuff. So, show me a comparison of the old stuff compared to the new stuff. Obviously, anything to do with Ruin Station, actually moving between Stanton to Pyro, so the new jump point experience. What is the Pyro spacescape actually like, and moving between planets in Pyro? There's a load of new stuff they can show us there. Missions. I would like to see where they are with alien animals. And just, I suppose, the other alien races. So yeah, I think there's a lot of cool stuff they could show us. But I mean, if they do a gameplay demo, it'll almost certainly be this is an example mission of something that might be done in Pyro, and obviously it'll be a little bit more controlled. That was my control example. Robert Johnston, assumedly, because I just saw his gift. Someone's gifted 5 subs. I saw an R. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston. Beautiful boy. Big supporter of the channel. Genuinely super appreciated. Hope you're doing well, sir. Thank you very much for those gifted memberships. It's not telling me who has received them, but I know some people have. Keep it down, Robert Johnston's here. How many Stumpfighters can you fit on cargo grids? And can you dock and undock while out in the verse? Depends on what ship it is. So very much with the new cargo system that they're doing at the moment. So at the moment, they're working on being able to attach any item to cargo grids and for them to snap. So that might be plushie, I say any item, most items. So that could be weapons and missiles and large items, potentially ships and vehicles. Do you think the Ares is in a good place? Current PTU, and whether CIG will change it again due to outrage. I haven't tested it in 3.20, so I don't know. Stuff like that will definitely get changed more. Will evolve with the game. So are there any patch notes? Now they said that there was going to be some. Well, there was a post all about the Ares, the Inferno, and the Ion, and it got deleted after there were quite a lot of developer responses on it. And fortunately, I've got a lot of it saved and in my notes. But some of the things they were talking about was potentially for 3.20, they are going to tweak the targeting for it. So it's going to be in 3.20 or 3.20, but an X patch. So the targeting is going to get some very light extra auto aim, or aim assist for it. They're changing the accuracy cone effectively of the Inferno, so that it's a lot more centered, a lot less erratic and variable, and things like that. So I think that some of the changes and updates they were doing to the Ares were to make it significantly more in line with what it originally was, and sort of a middle ground of it not being super overpowered, but also being that sort of sniper ship. Because you want the Ion to effectively be almost like an alternative to a bomber. You don't want it to be an anti-fighter. You don't want it just to go pooh and just take out light fighters. So I haven't actually tried it in 3.20's PTU yet. Well, I probably need to, at least with the Ion. Yeah, so the Ares Ion, when it first was implemented, it was just able to snipe light fighters out of the sky, out of space, which is obviously not fun for anyone, and everyone wants an Ares Ion. Are you worried about them releasing server meshing before they release Pyro, if that leak is to be believed to be true? No, so if they do a Pyro test, so if they do a server meshing test, that's good, right? It's going to be limited tests with Evocati and stuff. Why not? They need to test this stuff. I am slightly concerned that we may have problems with Star Citizen like we did with persistent anti-streaming when they switch over to server meshing. But it looks like they've learned a lot of lessons, and it's a lot less likely they're going to have terrible problems with server meshing when it goes live, like they did with persistent anti-streaming. But still a concern. Off to bed now. Keep the noise down. Ramos is in charge of noise control. Good night. Is it Ramos? Ramos? I'm terrible at pronunciation. I do apologise. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston. You are a legend. 63 months you've been a sub for. Ugh. I'm so sorry. Like, you've got buyer's remorse hard there. What's your favourite fighter? I've got a lot of love for the arrow and the saber. You classify it as a fighter. Cutlass Black the most. Yeah. So Hull C should be available in game to purchase in game at the end of the year with the 3.21/4.0 patch. 3.21, let's assume. When's our merch available again? I might. I wanted to update the merch, and that was like a year ago, so I took it off the store, and I've forgotten to put it back on, because I'm stupid and lazy. I thought 4.0 was going to be Icardi where we're getting off 3.21 patch by the end of the year. Maybe. We don't know, because we don't have time machines, and we can't see the future. So, we don't know. There's been loads of rumours going backwards and forward if there's going to be a 4.0 by the end of the year, and if it's even going to be ready, and was it the plan to have it at all, and 3.21 is going to be by the end of the year, and maybe some Icardi testing of server meshing. If there's no wipe with 3.20, then I might expect one with 3.20.1 or 3.20.2. Maybe. We'll see if they need to. So basically, Clan Imperium saying that they don't want to wipe unless they have to. Or if it's beneficial. Does the D20 actually roll? I have yet to roll it. But I would expect that it will be relatively physics-based. We're going to have to put it on some sort of, like, giant dice tower. They continue Will they continue selling it for $45 for PC and console, or will they change it to high price once Squadron 42 is out? Almost certainly increase the price. Almost certainly. Squadron 42, probably changing in price, which is why they've taken it off the stores. So they have taken Squadron off out of the store, I believe, at the moment. I believe it will be getting back in the store around CitizenCon time, oddly. What quality of life and bug fixing are you looking for the most? So desync. So I want desync to be fixed, AI to operate appropriately, and not just either insta kill you with a laser, or be super dumb. So that sort of stuff. Yeah, at the moment that's what I'm looking for the most. I mean, in addition to performance stability and accessibility, yeah. So Misk is basically pirate now. Any of those ships can be used as pirate ships, right? Even you can have posh pirates in Origin ships. Yeah, 3.20 by the end of September is what looks likely for live. Is 3.20 more stable and viable for PvP again? It looks that way. It looks like they have solved some desync issues, at least. Performance and accessibility and playability is up. And invisible players don't appear to be a problem. Cost fallacy in BoredGamer. Yeah, that's where you should be spending your money. And if you're worried about that, then you should be spending more money, indeed. I heard that summer... What? Back off! Really now. Yes, Robert Johnston, thank you very much. Very much appreciated for the donation, and I hope you have a good sleep. I do appreciate you coming into the stream literally at very late at night for you. It is appreciated, sir. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to bio... Ugh. Sound I make when I sit down now because I'm getting old. I was young and spry when Star Citizen was first announced. Not so much now. Do you expect we will get a few new planets and systems with the same patch that Pyro comes in? So, for Pyro, yes, but no new systems beyond Pyro. I'm expecting Nyx to be the next system after that, and potentially to be relatively quick after that, like within the year. Well, probably even quicker. Probably quicker than that, to be honest. Yeah, there was rumors and stuff about Star Citizen being in a sort of maintenance mode effectively until Squadron 42 was released. I don't put much stock in that just because I know people are working on different features. What's the best way to support BoredGamer? So the most amount of money gets sent to you. Whatever way is the most comfortable, to be honest. Direct donation via the paypal.me links and things like that. Direct donations are the best way of supporting if you want more money to get to me. But whatever's most comfortable for people, like anyway, is always appreciated. I'm pretty chill. And if people don't want to support with money, you commenting, asking questions, sharing, liking, subscribing, all that sort of stuff really helps tons. Enjoy your content in the way you want to enjoy it. With yeah. Can we see some ship reveals soon, since there are a few unannounced vehicles approaching finished? So yeah, expect to see some bits for 3.20, but mainly 3.20.1, CitizenCon, 3.20.2, Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Expect to see a load more. Do you think we might see some work on Nyx during CitizenCon? Quite possibly. So for people that know what the Boreal Stalker is, it's the Microtech Yeti, which is going to be a creature, or creatures, that are big and scary. The invisible player bugs appear to have been solved in 3.20 from my point of view, but I didn't do a huge amount of testing, and I know that's one of the fixes that were there. But, we don't know until it's more widely tested, right? And really, they need to have it on the live servers, and then run something like Jump Town or Xenothreat. Good board, thanks for holding an AMA. How's the current state of the game and the future look like? I've stepped away from the past months due to poor performance. Been away since 3.17. Good. So 3.18 and at least the very start of 3.19, terrible patches for accessibility and playability. Everything broken, couldn't log in, queues. They broke a lot of stuff with persistent entity streaming. Persistent entity streaming was essential for the game and is essential to move on to server meshing and stuff like that. But it was a huge step backwards for the game's playability and that live service, which is obviously annoying. But 3.20, huge polish patch. So it's getting Star Citizen back on sort of like as bug-free as possible, as polished as possible. It's something that players can actually play with. Yeah, it looks to be the most polished patch we've ever had for Star Citizen, and significantly better than 3.18/3.19 was. Not a huge amount of new features specifically in 3.20. There's a bit with like cargo updates and new missions and stuff. So bear that in mind. Sorry, I've just seen a spider out the corner of my eye, and I'm actually deeply terrified of spiders. Do not worry. I'm just going to scare him away. I'm literally blowing him away. I need to get a Hoover up his web later. But I'm sorry. Apologies. If that swings back later, if you hear me scream because there's a spider on me, I apologise. Yes, Jump Town this week. So they tested it a little bit over the weekend, I think, in the PTU. I believe it's on the live build. For later this week. Assuming that we're not on 3.20, assuming they haven't magically moved over to 3.20, then it'll be 3.19.1. And I don't think that's going to be the best experience on 3.19.1. All the talk of Squadron 42 lately, we haven't had Squadron 41 yet. That's true. We need to get through the whole of the Squadron 1 to 41 first. That's all games to wait for. 400 years later. J-Bad, thank you very much for your continued support. You beautiful boy. And Summer Yeti, I love you as well. You know I do. Making a cookbook needs some recipes tested. Let to post in the food section of Discord interested in testing. Yes, 100%. Sin and I both interested in testing. Genuinely. We've also got a mate, Cameron, who's a big foodie. What new features for 3.20 are you looking forward to? FT persistence. So, quite looking forward to all of the updates with Arena Commander, allowing me to jump in and do some stuff in the game really quickly and easily with randoms. So that allows Zin and I to actually do a lot of stuff easily with the community. It's a shame that they don't have the multi-crew experience with 3.20 that they originally were going to. Hopefully we'll get it in a point patch, if not, then by the end of the year. But the MFD persistent stuff, and I know that those polish passes and things like that, that absolutely fantastic for the game. Omkata, thank you very much for the sub. Much appreciated. I do appreciate the support. I'd love a BoredGamer bobblehead. Yes. I mean, you can get one now. To be honest, you just buy a potato or an egg and just leave it next to your computer. Then you've effectively got a BoredGamer bobblehead. So I've tested the Halsey a few times with the loading and unloading. Had lots of good experiences with it. Haven't had much in the way of problems, but I haven't done a huge amount of testing. What do you think of the lack of missions for mining? Yes, we need mining missions. We need cargo missions. We need to actually make use of the full mechanics, right? Totally with you. Yeah, mining missions for those loops. Larger scale hauling missions. Totally agree. Do you expect a tank swarm mode similar to Vandal and Pirate Swarm? So I'm hoping that we get a surface Vandal swarm just defending an outpost, right? Yeah, so something like a tank swarm, something like a combined arms swarm is what I'd like, and we're defending an outpost in a group with tanks and fixed structures. So yeah, tanks and turrets and hand weapons as infantry on the ground, and we're taking out everything that's coming at us. That'd be cool. That's the sort of stuff I want. Do you think we'll see the Javelin and Idris shortly after Squadron 42's release or before? So, Clan and Boom have said, technically, there's no... they're not holding the Idris and Javelin back for Squadron 42, but it might be that they kind of are, or that it will just happen to be ready around the same time. Because to have the Idris and Javelin in game properly, they do need to make the civilian versions, not the military versions they've got for Squadron 42, or they need a cleaner, clearer interior, right? for the versions that players would use. But also, they want to have the resource management system in physicalized components and all this other stuff that they've got planned. That there's no point in putting those ships in our hands now until they've got that stuff done, because they don't want to have to redo big sections of them. I do think that we're going to get them. I'd say end of next year, we could see Squadron 42 Episode 1 released, quite genuinely, and Idris and Javelin released as well, potentially. Maybe? So no, 3.20 is a load of other stuff as well. There's a load of polish. There's a load of updates to missions. There's loads of updates to cargo. They put the whole sea in. Reputation system updates. There's quite a bit there that's been going on for the PU. There's just no loads. There's no like huge new features or anything like that. The most content is the Arena Commander side of things, and it helps the Persistent Universe because I mean they've got experimental modes in there as well. So they're testing master modes, which are the sort of updated flight mechanics in that Arena Commander setting, and they can change up game modes. They can have this test specific weapons, or they can have these game modes where they're collecting data. So it's super helpful for them. And when you're talking about balance and testing a particular ship or weapon, Arena Commander is going to be the best place to do that. Do you think we'll get an announcement at CitizenCon? Yes, multiple announcements at CitizenCon. But I do think that we're going to see some relatively big stuff with Squadron 42 and Pyro and what's happening for 4.0 and next year. Will they have a military and civilian version of the Javelin? I believe so. So that there effectively will be, because there'll be the Idris, the Javelin that we see in Squadron 42 effectively will have a load of military components and military gear and weapons. So maybe not technically different versions, and you could probably outfit your Javelin to be the same. But stock Javelins will come with very basic stuff. Have there been any art or sneak peeks for the Zeus Mark II coming out? So yeah, this is a rumored ship that Zeus, which is the first in lore, the first sort of, it looks like a space shuttle, first consumer quantum drive ship that was available in the lore, that they might be making a Mark II version for CitizenCon. Hello, I'm just about to end streaming pretty soon, actually. Apologies for that, people that have just joined. Is damage to first-person armor going to be a thing? Yes. That there will be a wear and tear and damage system for it. I'm not sure if it actually damages the integrity of the armor rather than just looking like it's damaged the armor, right? Do you think ship variants will go away once the modularity system is refined and comes online? No. So there are variants and hulls, and they're all sort of different. So they might become a bit more homogenized, and there might be some tweaks there. There are some variants are different hulls technically, but they're truly just a modular change. And the same hull that you can actually just take the modules out, then yeah, that they'll be probably homogenized into, well, actually it's this ship with this module. Has there been an improvement in server FPS in 3.20 in anyway? I've not noticed server FPS improvements in general beyond when I'm around in like Lorville and Crusader. The frame rates are definitely up there and more stable. But beyond that, I'm getting like 60 to 70 frames anyway. Well, 50 to 70 frames is actually realistically what I'm getting. What kind of firepower do you think the C1 will have? It's just going to have some size, like a couple of size 3 weapons, right? A couple of size 3, couple of size 2. Is that what's the Spirit C1 have? Can't remember anymore. I mean, it might be tweaked. I thought I had a couple of size 3s and is it got all size 3s according to this? No, wait. So according to this, it has four size 3s, 5 size 3s. According to this. Oh, one of them's a tractor beam, so 4 size 3s and a size 3 tractor beam. Got it. But let's see, that might get tweaked a bit. I thought I had 2 size 3s and 2 size 2s. Right. Oh, will they have a... Oh, we talked about that as well. Yeah, so I'm going to dash off in a second. There's going to be a video from Zin and I coming out a little bit later. We'll talk about some of the hot topics for Star Citizen in our podcast. And we'll also talk about sort of drama, rumours, and some tabloid garbage type stuff. So we'll talk about the sort of future of the channel and how we cover things. Is all newsworthy when it gets to a certain level of sort of... if people are talking about it on Reddit, or if they're talking about it on Star Citizen Leaks, if they're talking about it on other channels, they're talking about it in articles. Do we cover that, even if it's sort of like, shouldn't really be giving that exposure because it's bullshit? Or is that not our right to decide whether that's something people want to talk about or not, and we should sort of cover everything? And should we cover stuff even if it is just to debunk it? So is everything worthy of talking about? Actually, we should vet what we talk about a bit more. I'm always in the sort of opinion, I think Zin is as well, that we should talk about stuff freely and openly and everything sort of on the cards to talk about, even if it is very sort of like, well, you shouldn't really platform this because it's just disinformation. Well, I'll talk about it and say it's probably misinformation or, you know, whatever. And that's just my opinion anyway. But yes, thank you very much for watching. It's genuinely appreciated. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to find someone else that is streaming. I do genuinely appreciate all the support we've got over the many years we've been doing this, and I'm very much looking forward to 3.20 going live. But I suppose for the moment, I'm really excited for CitizenCon. I want to send you over to Morphologist, who recently said that he had done some. Oh no, he recently said he had done some work for Star Atlas, oddly, as a sort of, I think, consultant, as an architect. I don't think he's sort of overly promoting crypto or anything like that, but it was an interesting sort of thing. Obviously, it makes some absolutely fantastic videos. Morphologist, and he's a good boy. Right, thank you very much for watching. Genuinely appreciated. If you want to go and check out Morphologist on his channel, great. I will link it somewhere. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the money.